think it would be you, huh?
Yeah.
That's.
Hey Luke, you're a 10-year-old kid running around Everbank Field. Did you ever imagine you'd be this close to starting at the University of Florida and the journey that you've been on?
No, I definitely didn't. Growing up, my dad went to USC and my sisters went to LSU, so Florida was never really, a topic of conversation. But my dad drafted a lot of guys from Florida, so it was always kind of around, but I never thought I'd be here.
How did being around football your whole life, how's that helped you?
Helps a lot. Outside of just knowledge of the game, just seeing guys how they interact in the locker room, how they prepare, how they handle themselves as a professional. And you see guys learn from their mistakes in the NFL because you don't have people holding their hand. So it's been really valuable, and I've been extremely fortunate with this.
Hey Luke, could you give your most guys who are quarterbacks whose fathers were coaches, the fathers were offensive coaches, frequently their coaches. Have you gotten any kind of perspective on playing your position from having a dad who was a defensive coach, defensive guys whole life?
Yeah, definitely. So I actually used to play defense, but my dad always kind of wanted me to play offense just because of, first quarterbacks that kind of touch the ball every play, and you're the guy. But him being a defensive coach and a coordinator and a linebacker when he played, it helped a lot learning coverages and schemes. And I actually prefer that he's a defensive coach. It's nice because you get.
Do you guys kick things around?
We have.
Does he ask you, okay, what would you do with this, and that?
Right. Yeah, we have before. Usually on long plane rides, we'll go back and forth sometimes. Yeah, it's kind of funny when we do that because he always has an answer for whatever I throw at him, but so he says, "Oh no, that won't work."
Could you give a synopsis of what went into the process of going to 3 different schools? I mean, what didn't work out at one school, or is it just a matter of playing time?
Right. Yeah, it was tough. It definitely was going to 3 different schools. I basically went to Alabama because it was a dream of mine. I wanted to play for Coach Saban. I wanted to play with the best in the country. They were the national champions at the time. It was a mixture of things at Alabama. And then Oregon State, it was pretty much strictly coaching staff and changes. But I couldn't be happier to be here.
It's a testament to your never giving up. You went through a lot. Was there ever a time where you're like, this isn't in the cards?
Absolutely. Everybody sees that, oh wow, you're still going, you're still, chasing the dream, and it's not like every single day I woke up fired up for my, situation that I was in. I got told I wasn't going to play somewhere, that hurts. You put a lot of effort, a lot of time into trying to be the best player you can be, and then somebody tells you you can't play here. It's not easy, but I had a great foundation, great family.
So what are your thoughts as you enter this camp with the opportunity to win the job?
Right, it's definitely something I look forward to. But the biggest thing that I'm trying to keep focused on is one day at a time. The first game is going to come here. It's going to be right out there, it's going to be at night, and it's going to be a great time, but I can't focus on that right now because then I won't be my best in the present moment.
How much did Florida's well-documented struggles on offense the last few years play at all with your decision to come here?
Not at all. I looked at Florida as a great university academically. Everybody that I know that has gone here from Bowles High School, Episcopal School of Jacksonville, they've loved it. And my relationship with the coaching staff just encouraged me to come here. It had nothing to do with their recent records or accolades. It was more the people.
McElwain thinks that offensively you guys can take a big jump year 1 to year 2. Do you believe the same, and why?
Absolutely. Everybody's more comfortable in the offense. People say that a lot, but it really does matter. If I taught you something and expected you to do it perfectly, it's really tough. But if I taught it to you a couple of times, you got to practice and do it and play it and then do it again, you do much better. So it's really comfortability in the same offense, adding wrinkles that we can tailor to our offensive weapons, and we're really excited.
Luke, how would you respond to somebody who says, how's the offense going to be dramatically better when I think you've thrown 18 college passes, so you're not really played in college much, and your best receiver, his eligibility is still up in the air?
Right. Well, it kind of goes back to the control what you can control. really control how people think we're going to do. Obviously, I don't think we're going to do too good. So, you know, we're excited to prove them wrong. But like I said, we can only focus on tomorrow's practice.
Are you still a Jags fan?
I keep up with certain players, but no, I'm a Raiders fan.
Who was your favorite Jaguar player when you were a kid? Who do you remember? Who did you look up to? Who was nice to you?
Josh Scobie. I hung out with Josh Scobie a lot because they had the most time off. Maurice Jones-Drew was always a really good guy. He would beat me mercilessly at ping pong. I mean, it wasn't even, you know, it's like, oh, I'm 10, he'll go easy on me, and he would skunk me. So I always appreciated that, though, that they kind of played with me like I was one of their own. It meant a lot, but those two guys are the first that come to mind.
This school is such a tradition.
Right.
It hasn't since
Quarterback is such a unique position. There's so much that goes into it. Yeah, they touch the ball every play, but you know, if you take an amazing quarterback and he's missing a few pieces here and there, he's not going to look as good as other guys. So I think there's so much that goes into it. It's hard to kind of have an amazing quarterback every single year. And sometimes you have a great quarterback and it just doesn't work out, whether it's injury or maybe the system doesn't fit him great. There's tons of reasons why. Right. So it's different in every position. So you know, we'll have to see.
If you're the starter, what are your expectations for what you think this offense should be?
One more time.
If you are the starter,
Yeah.
what are your expectations for what you think this offense should be?
I'm really excited. You know, the guys did an amazing job working over the offseason, really building chemistry. The offensive line, and they're all back besides Trip Thurman. He did a great job of kind of being the leader of that group and learning the new system. I think it really comes down to chemistry between the groups, whether it's quarterback to linemen, and you know, myself and Austin to the wideouts and the tight ends. It's really about cohesiveness and competitiveness.
It sounds like you are almost somewhat excited by the fact that people have doubts about this offense. It's almost like,
well, I mean, it always kinds of lights a fire under you when people don't believe in you. And I think as a competitor, you get excited when somebody has doubts about your abilities. So we're excited.
What's your and Austin's relationship like?
We're very friendly. Very friendly. We hang out outside of football. He's a great guy. You know, I think I've done a pretty good job of welcoming him in with open arms when he came from Purdue, because I understand that situation is difficult, obviously, from experience. So I'm glad that he's here, and I'm excited to compete with him.
How quarterback friendly is Mac's offense?
Extremely. It was a big reason why I came here. Coach Mack, I knew him from Alabama. He recruited me, and then he offered me when he was at Colorado State. And his system is a big reason why I came here, and it is quarterback friendly.
What's so good about the system?
Well, he does a really good job at communicating and being able to put it in terms that a quarterback will understand and process, and he keeps it simple. You know, you can have great concepts, but if you have a million ways to read it, then you're not going to have much success. So he does a really good job of keeping it simple and holding us accountable for what we do.
You talked about the system and the chemistry. Is there something to be said for maybe this offense just having more talent than the last couple of years?
Well, I mean, it's the University of Florida. I think there's always talent here. We live in one of the best states in the country for football. We're definitely excited for what we have this year and years to come.
It sounds like there's a lot of excitement about those young guys. What is it about the Gators that has Jim McElwain so excited?
Yeah, well, they did a really good job of getting 5 young, really athletic and smart guys that are going to play pretty early. So I think the biggest thing is that they're listening, they're learning. They know that they don't know it all, and that will take them further than any 40 test or catching really.
How hard did Mac recruit you to go to Colorado State, and did you seriously consider going there?
He recruited me very hard to go to Colorado State, and there was no way I was going to go there because I didn't enjoy playing Colorado. The altitude kind of gave me some trouble. I don't have sickle cell or anything like that, nothing serious. I just didn't really enjoy, the weather. I love the people, love the city, but playing football there wasn't my favorite.
Two things. Munkin says he's still pissed that you didn't follow him to Southern Miss.
Yeah.
Did you ever even consider going there?
Yeah, I did. Coach Munkin's the reason why I committed to Oklahoma State. People say don't go places because of coaches. Well, good luck playing if you have coaches that don't like you. So Coach Munkin and I, we have a good relationship. I've known him since I was 9. It just wasn't the right fit for me, but I'm really happy that he's doing well.
And then you mentioned Scobie earlier. He said, ask you about the time he accidentally gave you a black eye.
With the football.
Yeah.
So there was a scrimmage on the practice field. All the specialists kicked, and then they went inside of the stadium, and I went with them. And we were throwing the ball back and forth, and he threw one really hard and it skipped. He one-hopped it, and I guess I hadn't seen that before, and it boom, right in my eye, black eye, bloody nose. He was a rookie, and he starts freaking out. Your dad's gonna cut me, your dad's gonna cut me. I'm like, no, he won't. My dad says, how'd you get a black eye? I was like, I fell.
How old were you?
Oh, I was young. I was,
That was 03, yeah.
I was 8 or 9. Yep.
Yeah.
What about the units? I mean, you talked about receivers. I mean, talk about the receiving unit and running back.
Yeah. The receivers, like I said, a younger group. We have some senior leadership in Ahmad, and Brandon Powell's going to be a junior, but we consider him a leader. That's a younger group, and then running back, it's a unique situation because we have so many new guys and young guys that have to step up. But we have all the faith in the world in Jordan and Mark and Michael coming in and pushing those guys.
How many times have you met Coach Del Rio?
I don't think I might have met him once. But it was brief. I haven't really gotten to know him.
You think you'll have some conversation?
I definitely want to pick his brain because I know some people who played for South Carolina and they loved him.
Plus, he's already declared you the starter.
Yeah, that kind of blew up. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the insight, but it's still an open competition. No, I definitely want to pick his brain about certain routes that he would run against certain coverages and how he handled certain things.
What did that teach you? Everything you went through, transfers and everything. Did it toughen your skin? What did it do?
Yeah, I mean, it did a lot. They always talk about coming out of high school and going through the Elite 11 process. They always say it's a journey. It's not going to come immediately. You see guys where it does come immediately. It starts a true freshman, they get drafted #1. It's like, wow, that
Did you see yourself as one of those guys?
I mean, I played right next to him in the camps, and I stacked up really well against him. Like I said earlier, there's a lot that goes into the system and how guys come and go. But I'm excited to be here, and there's only so many things that you can control.
What was the low point? Did someone actually tell you that you're not going to play here?
Yeah, they did.
You remember that like it was yesterday?
Yeah, it was a Tuesday. It was like 6:50 in the morning, and they told me, and I still had to go practice because it was during spring practice.
Where was this?
It was at Oregon State. Yeah, it hurt a lot, and but.
So when they tell you that,
Coach Riley was gone.
Okay.
so when they tell you that, they're basically saying you need to go somewhere else. Is that what they're? Is that?
That's why I asked him. I said, so you want me to transfer? And they basically said, look, we're not telling you to do anything. We're just telling you won't play here.
Was this the head coach?
Even though they're struggling.
Yeah, who's the head coach? Alabama, what was the deal there?
It was multiple factors. I don't really want to get into it.
But that's got to be hard. I mean, the coach basically says,
Yeah. I mean, Alabama was more complicated, but Oregon State was very difficult. I had a good thing going. I was settled, but once again, I'm really happy to be here.
When you got to Alabama, was Jake Coker? Was he transferring to Florida?
No, so I was there. I was AJ's backup, the kick 6 year. I was there that year. It still hurts. And I was talking to the coaches about the possibility of leaving, and Jake was coming in.
So what do you feel your advantage in this competition is at the start of the camp?
Personally, thank you. Personally, I think that my familiarity with the offense, my command of the offense, my familiarity with the receivers and the chemistry that we've built over the summer and spring, and just the years that I've spent elsewhere, I think really helped. I've been exposed to different offenses. The one at Alabama was really similar, but it was different. And then Oregon State was completely different. So I think all the different concepts that I've been exposed to help me.
You joked about Spurrier's comment, but do you feel it's your job at this point if you play well in camp?
I'm confident in my ability. I can really only control what I can control. I feel like if I play the best of my ability, then I'll have a good shot at winning the job.